Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 3 of Forever Stranded. When we left off the last episode, I had finished building a wall and covering up spawn locations in its interior, so we were ready to begin working at night. However, on further consideration since then, I decided to wait until. Or I have decided to wait until I can get some uh, punji sticks or spikes up along the wall. So that way, even though the mobs are kept out, I'd prefer them to be automatically killed as well, so that way I don't have to deal with them. So, once we get into the game, pretty much the first thing I'll be doing is either trying to sleep, or or if that fails, I'll be checking to make sure the wall is actually secure. And manage to sleep. Ooh. Looking at the mini-map, there is a mob that managed to sneak in, so we're gonna have to deal with that. Ow. Okay. And with him hurting me like that, I need to eat. And with that, diminishing returns have started. So, I can no longer eat apples. I do need to drink some. So, we have a couple, primary requirements. First is blocking off along here, so that way mobs can't get in. And they might be able to get in over here too, so hello. Let's build that up a little bit more and extend these another one out. Let's call it another 2 out as well. Now we need to go put these placeable sand layers on top to prevent mobs from spawning up there. Do it over here also. And time to get on with the business of the day. Which, we have a couple priorities. First is getting food. And the second is to put the defenses outside so that way I can work through the night. Let's see. Actually, let's check quests as well. Next up is need water. That we do. Oak crucible and unfired bucket. Unfortunately, the unfired bucket requires porcelain clay, which requires ash, which requires a furnace. So, before we can do that, I have to make and sift a whole bunch more dirt. Therefore, for food, I'm gonna have to look at this rotten flesh. Now, rotten flesh can be turned into jerky on a drying rack, which I believe is 3 slabs in a row. Yes. So, put the drying rack up, put the rotten flesh in it. Come out here and see if the husk is still nearby, which it's not. Oh well. Therefore, I believe it's back to, chopping down this tree. In which case, we'll be back in a moment. And we're back. As you can see, I've chopped down these 2 trees. I had to spend a little bit of time inside, during which time I sifted a couple pieces of sand, just to cool off, because it was very warm. Now we can put these saplings to making dirt. And something I remembered since the last episode. Oh, scratch that for a moment. Monster jerky is complete. Now we can get a little bit more food. Unfortunately, still not to the extent we need. But, as I was just saying, I remembered since the last episode that you can use string to create dirt as well. It's nowhere near as efficient. It takes 25 string to make a single piece of dirt. But it can save us some bone meal in that I can always have one of these infesting and or growing without worrying about getting more string than I need. So it's something else to keep in mind and probably worth doing. I am highly tempted to go kill that husk just to see if he drops any meat for us, because we are kind of in desperate need of it. But first, we're up to 9 dirt, so let's sift this and see how close we can get to getting our furnace. Because once we get the furnace, we can also cook silkworms immediately to get a bit of food that way. If you'll notice, I'm getting these small stones from sifting dirt. It takes 9 of them to create 1 cobblestone, so I need a total of 72 of them to create a furnace. Like, getting generally about 3 small stones per dirt, we're looking at 24 dirt, I believe, on average to get the furnace. Thankfully, the temperature has come down, and it's actually approaching night, so I'm gonna have to be careful about that. Yep. Okay, I have 4 cobble worth of small stones, so it's going to take twice what I have. And come on. Not quite as nice as I thought. Might as well finish chopping down this tree and planting a new one. Since the last episode, I also adjusted my microphone and in-game sound settings, so hopefully it's easier to hear what's going on, or hear what I'm saying, especially while I'm cooking, because that was rather loud. And I will bring this up. I was playing around in Other Worlds first, which is how I had the 4 lives remaining here, because it does not clear the chat log when you switch between games. In actuality, if I go to party, I do still just have 2. Now, we can harvest a bunch of cactus. Find that placing a sand layer is just the easiest way to harvest a couple quickly. And I always harvest the whole thing, so that way I run less of a risk of colliding with them and hurting myself. Also, the cactus doesn't fall on top of the one remaining and get destroyed. So, put that away. Oh, I got pumpkin seeds. That could be useful once I get a better farm situation going. Nope, that husk did eventually despawn, so I can't go kill it. But I can make more dirt out of this string. I think I'm going to have to end up using most of my bone meal to get the dirt I need, which is mildly unfortunate, as I don't have all that much. Let's just bone meal you. Hello. I'm gonna go ahead and start crooking that down immediately, I think, because I don't really want to deal with that, with waiting for it to infest first, because that will take a while. So, cut that down, plant it, then meander over here. Let's see, if I put one there, I should be able to make that jump. And then we can start working up the top of the tree to crook it all down. And there went my crook again. So, I'll be back in a few minutes when I've gotten this tree down and hopefully a bit more dirt. I know I started the episode off mentioning wanting to get some defenses up around the wall to kill mobs automatically. I haven't done anything about that yet because I'm waiting for the furnace to be able to readily get water to make more sugar cane, and then I will be making punji sticks from Tinker's Construct. These do a couple hearts each of damage every second or so, and they're fairly cheap to make, which is why I'm aiming for them. Another choice, if they're in the spec, yes, would be, at this point, wooden spikes, but does not kill, so I'd have to manually kill, and that's actually a fair amount of wood involved in making them. Making each one, and I want to line the entire wall with them. So, not particularly useful. And I ended up 2 small stones shy. Thankfully, I made this extra dirt, so I can wander back here, sift it, and we should now have enough for the furnace. Yes. With 1 small stone to spare. Come out here to the crafting station. Nope, 2 small stones to spare. I may have missed... No, I got 3 that time, so I was slightly short before. But now, we have the all-important furnace. We'll stick that off in the corner because it does heat up the area and will raise your heat significantly while you're standing by it. If you notice my heat while standing here, the target heat is 33. Nearby blocks adding 12. Backing up, it's back down to 21. Now, for the moment, I can stand next to it because, well, okay, for the moment it's off, but even now I can stand next to it because it won't affect the... It does affect the rate nearby blocks, speeding things up by 1 second per temperature, I think, is how that works. But it's not significant. But it's simple enough to just back off, wait for that to finish, and let us get a bunch of silkworms. Might as well. Nah, we only need to cook 5 for the recipe. Other options. And since we won't even be able to eat that many right away, we'll just stick with the 5. Now, I might have wasted part of charcoal there, but no big deal. Especially since, actually, Additions adds tiny charcoal. You get 8 per charcoal with 1/8 the burn time. So each tiny charcoal will burn 1 item. Exactly, so no more wasting coal or charcoal when you only have to make 1 or 2 things. It is very nice. So, just finish crafting those. Then we are going to... Oh, I was very scared there for a moment because I just remembered that I need bone meal to craft porcelain clay. And I had been using it, so I'm down to 5. I need 3 for the bucket. So I'm not screwed over. I haven't screwed myself over there. And quest complete. Other options. So, we get a rice seed and a loot chest. The rice seed we will be planting shortly because rice is a pretty good overall crop and is also required for Hunger Games. Lots of rice is required for Hunger Games, which is a couple quests off. Oh. Oppressor. Okay. Not particularly good reward from that loot crate. I've gotten far better things, such as, at this point, 6 stone was actually a better reward than the presser at this early point in the game. But have to come in here to cool off. Might as well sift a bit of sand while we're at it. And before I forget, eat a couple of said silkworms. They're not the greatest, but they do provide a bit. And hopefully, yes, that does give enough food to start regenerating a little bit of health. Also at this point, I need wood barrels, or rather oak crucibles, I should say, which are made the same way as barrels, except with oak wood instead of oak wood planks. These you can put various vegetable matter in to get water. Let's see. Crucible. What works well? Leaves give a quarter of a bucket each, but we don't have shears yet. Saplings would require 10. Apples 20. Oh, cacti. It takes 4 to make a bucket of water using cacti. So we're just gonna pop those in. Even though it looks like they're leaves, they're not. Then let's look at my... good. I have 20 powdered iron ore, which makes 5 iron ore dust, which will give me 5 iron and allow me to make things such as shears. Okay, we have ash, we have bone meal. What was the other thing I need? Right, I need clay to make porcelain clay. Now, clay is made by putting dust in a barrel of water. So, we're going to need to make more water. Also going to need a hammer. So, this hammer recipe makes the hammer. Throw the cacti in there. That's coming right along. Then I'm going to be putting my sugarcane, that's what it's called, farm right along here. So we're just gonna dig up this right along here to get the dust I need. This is almost ready. Those completed, so now we're gonna throw in more oak wood to get more charcoal, because now I can also make torches to replace all these layers of sand, just to be a little bit more reliable in terms of preventing mob spawns. That's getting there. We need the dust. Just right click, it creates clay. Right click again, you get the block. Turn to clay. Ash. Bone meal. 3 porcelain clay. With which I can make unfired bucket, which should have just completed need water. Well, completed that stage of need water. Now I need to actually make a water bucket. Now, notice that on the tooltip for this is the Ex Nihilo Omnia water bucket. That means that you have to use the fired version of the unfired bucket. You just smelt it, becomes the fired one, and you have to use that to create your bucket of water. If you try making one out of iron, the game won't recognize you as having completed the quest. So, we smelt that. Let's make a couple torches. Now, using the tiny pieces of coal, or tiny charcoal, it is possible to make tiny torches as well. Stretches your charcoal much further, but the tiny but uses more sticks, and the tiny torches don't give quite as much light. So now that charcoal isn't going to be much of an issue, I'm just going to do that and use real torches. Put a few torches along here. Now we need to sleep again. I'm guessing one more sleep cycle at this point before I can have my defenses up. Oh, it looks like one guy spawned out there. 4, 6. We'll put the water right there. Up to flow. Quests need water completed, which gives me 4 oak saplings and an empty canteen. Next quest is even hotter, which requires an unfired crucible, which will require even more porcelain clay. So I will need more bone meal before I can complete this quest. So let's go see what it was that spawned out here. Oh, hello, Mr. Husk. Let me go get my sword to kill you with. Because I want your meat. You are not very tasty, but you are tastier than an apple at this point. So, come over here. Come here. Okay, that's close enough. And you dropped multiple meat. Good. Oh, hey. Quest updated. Desperate times. Right, because we got other options. Come over here, and we had to get 1 rotten flesh for the second stage of Desperate Times. Zombie jerky requires salt and rotten flesh, which will require us to get the salt. Now, I don't have any more water being made at the moment, so let's go around and pick up the sugarcane that we had growing over here. And while I'm over here, I might as well fill my canteen. To fill the canteen, just right-click on a source block with it, and you get a dirty water canteen. Not particularly useful at the moment. It's better than nothing, but it's dirty water, so it can give you the thirst debuff. Break those so I can get in easily and rebuild the wall. So, now I have these 3 sugarcane. I'm going to hammer out the rest of this so that way I can make snad, because sugarcane also grows very quickly on snad. As these grow, the first several I'm going to use to just expand the farm before making the punji sticks. Do I have any more sugarcane seeds? I did not think so. But we can use this rotten flesh to make more jerky. And if desperate times come, we can just eat the rotten flesh, but there's a fair chance of getting a hunger debuff, which, not so useful. Right. I have iron. That means that I can make shears. Okay, just double checking to make sure I do still have some saplings, because you do not get saplings while shearing the leaves. But, as I mentioned while I was looking at the water, only takes 4 leaves to make a bucket of water. And it also takes 8 leaves, same as saplings, to make dirt. So, once you get iron for shears, it is the best way of producing dirt. That being said, there's a quest, Infested, which requires 10 infested leaves, which also require the shears. So, once I finish chopping down this tree, I'm going to go grab the leaves and complete that quest. Because that quest also is going down the path of getting ways to cool yourself off. So, very important. There's 6. I don't know why they don't stack, but they sometimes fail to. 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm also being careful so that way when this tree grows, it can just infest its neighbor as before. Quest completed. Infested. Claim 20 more infested leaves. Now the next quest here is ice cubes. Get 5 slime balls and 5 ice cubes, which are gotten... Oh, hello. Which are gotten by sifting the infested leaves. At this point, I'm going to crook the rest of this one to try and get a few more saplings, just to have a few spare. Axe. There's axe. It's getting warm enough that I'm going to have to go in soon to cool off. But since we've got the the infested leaves to take care of, wood chippings. I don't recall ever seeing wood chippings before. I'm not sure where they came from. No recipe. Where'd they go? Here they are. Uses create compressed sawdust. Dynamite, Phytogrow, Florbs. Okay, so they're basically the same as sawdust. They can create potash. 8 of them create dirt. Okay, so there's a number of uses for them. However, while I'm at the max temp right now, I think it's a good time to come in here, cool off a bit, and sift infested leaves. And that also makes it a great wrapping up point for this episode. We're making progress on keeping cool, as well as towards having a wall that will actually kill the mobs. So until next time, enjoy.